Guys, so this video I'm going to be reviewing Stargirl 301, the Season 3 premiere, titled Frenemies, Chapter 1, The Murderer. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you're new, notifications on, let's get right into the review. So, it opened up with Blue Valley. I was pretty much going through it. We did get a previously on Stargirl segment recapping on Season 1, Season 2, which is really good because it's been like a year since Season 2. It's been even longer since Season 1. So I'm glad they kind of put the most important things in that little segment. So, you know, I did actually watch like a long recap, the 2 seasons on YouTube, before Season 3 premiered. It didn't really help anything. There's really no need for that. It just so I remember what was going on. Because it's been a while. We know that Shade is living in Blue Valley now. The first official connection to the Earth Prime Comics happened. Stargirl was the first one to connect it. Undoubtedly, The Flash will be the next show to do that. Because it's obviously a big connection to The Flash. But this is huge for many reasons, but one of them being is that the Earth Prime Comics are Arrowverse canon. And if you can say whatever you want, but Stargirl's been part of the Arrowverse since 2009. This further confirms as part of the Arrowverse now more than ever, and I'm very glad we got that connection to the comics. You know, I said there were some things different, because it is live action, but it is a direct connection, so I'm very glad we got that in there. The Gambler's back and in town. There's newspapers. I couldn't really see them all, but it looked like court, like saving people. They couldn't really make out who it was because Stargirl's not a public hero in a way like the Flash is. You know, if like he saved a cat from a tree, everyone would be all over it. But it's just like a blinding light, you know, save someone or whatever. You know, that's what the staff does from a distance. It's like a blinding light. So they're not really going to see court. So I guess that's good for court. They're not really like, you know. But there was something off that felt off to me. That, like, everyone seemed to know that they were the new JSA. Like, you know, obviously the Crocs did. But was it just me, or it seemed like every single person in that town knew that they were superheroes? I may have just taken that wrong. It seemed that way. I didn't have a problem with it, but I was like, wait, what's going on? But, you know, because we had Artemis in this episode who was trying to be on the new JSA, who was the Croc's daughter, Larry and Paula, I think her name is. Their daughter wanted to be on a new JSA. So it's obvious she knew, and she played somewhat of a role this episode. She had a really good action scene. The thing about this premiere was that we didn't get like a Team JSA action scene, which I wasn't like annoyed by that, nor was I like that we needed one. We really didn't. It would have been nice to see one. But we did get an action scene, and I'm glad we got one. Nonetheless, it was nice to see, though. But I'm sure we'll get tons of action scenes with the Court and the other members of GSA throughout the season. But nonetheless, I think it's a very good premiere for a season. If this was like a pilot, I would say hell no. But this is a Season 3 premiere. We're 3 years plus into the show. I think just, you know, the show's theme was pretty much wrapped into this premiere, and I really liked that. We did get a lot of Sylvester and Pat, which I liked as well. I really liked their relationship together. We even saw Sylvester grabbing the staff after he promised Courtney that he's not there for the staff. But he grabbed the staff to go find one with Pat, and they really did upgrade the CGI on Stripe, the robot. It was really amazing. It looked so cool. So I'm very glad they updated it. It didn't look horrible, but it also wasn't that great. It looked good. It just, it could have looked better, and they really did shine this premiere. I hope it sticks. I don't know if it will. But yeah, so Sylvester's going to become Starman again. Court and Sylvester got back to like an arrangement where when Court is at school, Sylvester can have the staff. When she gets home, she'll have the staff if anything happens. That way there's always someone to protect the world, or at least the town, because that's where danger happens on there too now. In that one town, well, sometimes I guess, so that way there's always a protector. Speaking of around the world, Sylvester and Pat actually saved the giant plane from crashing, and they had a ton of fun flying. Again, it was a really good scene, and I really love seeing those two together on screen together. I'm assuming we're going to get more of that throughout. I am going back to the arrangement with the staff. I like that Courtney came up with it, and it wasn't like Sylvester, because this was in that scene where Sylvester was, telling Court that he lied. He was back for the staff because he feels he has a connection to it, which he does. But he came back from the dead, and it was really well done with everything that happened. And we had a lot of Cindy this episode too, dealing with her wanting to be on the JSA. Again, it was really well done. The writing was amazing. CGI was amazing. All the scenes were amazing. Again, if I had to nitpick, I wish we got more action scenes. It wasn't a big deal. One of the major things that happened in this episode was we had a gambler storyline. The gambler, like I said earlier, is in Blue Valley now, alongside Shade, the Crocs, and some other people, villains. He was going around apologizing to everyone that he did wrongs to. So his storyline was kind of in a really good direction. He brought up he had a daughter that he never really met because they put her up for adoption, I think it was. So they never met, fully at least. And he wanted to get Courtney and Pat's help to at least try to help find her. They weren't really, they weren't really buying it, but they didn't really want to help anyways. But you could tell that Courtney kind of felt bad for him, because Courtney's father isn't that great either, which I can relate to on some level. So it's kind of personal to me too. And I did get a little teary-eyed throughout some of the gambler scenes, just how personal it got. But, which I love when a superhero show does that. It has that personality to it that some shows don't. The Flash has it very often. How they did in season 8 several times. So I really like when a show does that, at least to me. We did learn he actually does have a daughter. The Shade was poking that the gambler is lying to get what he wants, whatever the hell that is, and actually threatened him that if he doesn't leave, they will find out and they'll go after him. So it was kind of like a 50-50. Is he lying? Is he not? We found out he actually was. And he was writing a letter to his daughter, and then he got killed. This is the first murder of the season. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of murders this season. But there's obviously a lot of suspects here. Cindy was sending over the body with the camper being destroyed. Which was... I kind of had a feeling when he was writing that letter that he would die. So... Another thing, too, to bring out is that... the trailer, I think I said this already, was destroyed. But before it was destroyed... Gambler was in there, and he was looking at security footage. But the thing was that it was over Breck's house, Court's house, where you could see Sylvester and Pat sitting on that porch. And you could see right outside his trailer. And it didn't look like he opened it up either. It looked like someone opened it up. So to obviously lure him outside. And he had a gun that he threw away during the episode. He picked that up. It's a little like toy gun looked like. He picked it up. Had to defend himself, and as he got killed. Now, it sounded like, I want to say like a lion. It sounded like an animal in the background. And you could tell it distracted him and he was dead. And then you saw Cindy, and I thought, like, okay, maybe that was like a dart she shot, or like, I don't even know, honestly. But it sounded like some kind of like animal. I need to rewatch the scene, but it sounded like some kind of animal attacked them. Now, there could be an ISA member that can control animals or something. I don't know. But it's clearly something, someone bad that has it out for the gambler, which could be a long list of people. The JSA were there because when Artemis was finding those 5 guys, we found out that they actually worked for the gambler. Rick managed to convince Cord to stop, trusting these bad guys and actually go after them. So they arrived on the scene when Cindy was hovering over Gambler's body and he was already dead. So, again, what happened? We're going to be figuring that out throughout 13 episodes. I hope this doesn't get dragged out. That's my one worry, is that it could get dragged out. Because we're dealing with a murderer here. So, how long will this go on for? You know what I mean? Because, and I'll talk about my promo breakdown, but it looked like they were going to figure out a way to find this killer pretty early on. So I hope it doesn't become an issue like Season 4 or 5 or 6A, or not 6A, sorry, 6B, or, Season 7, where we have the villain that we can easily stop, but we can't because of story purposes. I don't think Stargirl hasn't done that. I hope they don't do that. It'd be nice if they didn't. So, there were some minor funny moments throughout the episode, like with Court wanting to leave the door unlocked, with the crocs moving across the seat because she trusts them, but Pat obviously doesn't. Again, there are obviously, like I said, funny scenes here and there. It was a very good episode. So, yeah. Don't really know what else I can really talk about. I am glad the show's back. An episode every single week, at least up till 305, I think. And then there's a break. But, yeah. I am really excited for this season. Again, my one worry is that it could be dragged out. It might be. I really hope it doesn't. I don't think it will. I think Jeff Johns, who's a showrunner, knows what he's doing. And he's been doing an amazing job for the past 2 seasons. So I think he'll do a good job on this. It's just how everything fall into place. I don't know. We do have Mr. Bones, who will be wrapped up early this season. Breck Bassinger confirmed that months ago. I did a full video on it. So I think what we're really going to be seeing is, will this be wrapped up, early, or will it be wrapped up, will it be connected to the main story, or will it be a side plot, is what I'm trying to get at. Because we didn't get a single thing from Mr. Bones, unless he's a murderer, but that's kind of spoiling the season. Because the season's theme is literally murder mystery. So if Mr. Bones gets wrapped up early on, if he isn't the murderer, we're looking at another murder, and looking at 2 murders, and it's like Cicada 1, Cicada 2. I'm sure Circle will do better than that, but my point is, it might end up being that. But I don't know, I could just be speculating, that's what I'm doing. But again, very good episode. I really did enjoy it. Let me comment down below what you thought of it as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I can cover. I feel like I'm forgetting some things. Again, it wasn't really anything like wow, like The Flash generally is for me. It was a very good premiere. Like, I give it an 8 out of 10. There were some things I was like, oh, okay, maybe a little bit too much, a little bit too less. But it was a very fun episode to watch. This show is just like relaxing and fun to watch. Something that you don't get every single show that you watch, right? So it was very fun. Again, very relaxing. It was a very good premiere. I think a very good way to start off the season. I do wish we kind of got into the main story a little bit earlier. But I am glad it's ending on a cliffhanger because it will drag people back to next week, right? That's the entire point. I am glad we did continue the stories that got ended season 2 to continue season 3 without really like any weird pickups or anything like that. So again, I'm glad we got the episode that we got, the premiere that we got. I just hope episode 2 will be better, in my opinion. I think it could be, it should be, and it most likely will be. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching the video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.